Mineral Commission, they haven't been with us for a while, but they are back and they are here to talk to us about some new investments in the sector and how they are being financed. And we have the CEO of the Minerals Commission, Mr. Martin Ayisi, to talk to us about these new developments in the sector. Mr. Ayisi, good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for making another return, because you keep coming back. And congratulations on 2 solid years of being CEO, from acting to not acting, substantive CEO of the Minerals Commission.
Thank you.
How has it been? Has it been a fulfilling journey?
Oh, yeah.
2 years on?
Yeah.
Everything you expected?
Yeah.
What's your biggest achievement in these 2 years?
Biggest achievement, the footprints of the commission. We are now practically all over the country. We have opened new offices. We spend heavily on staff training just to ensure that we keep pace with global changes, etc. And then what we are trying to do to sanitize the small-scale mining sector.
What's been the biggest challenge?
Oh, Galamsey is still around, so it's still the biggest challenge, very stressful.
River price, so not where it should be.
Yes.
Are you winning the fight?
We can't give up the fight.
So these new developments, are they meant to make things better? Tell us about what they are.
Thank you, Thelma, and it's great to be back. We went out for some programs, and then so I've missed a couple of what we call it sessions. Yes, you remember in our maiden discussions, I told you that the mining sector remains the heartbeat of this economy. And I think about 2 weeks ago, you heard my minister in his time with the press, Meet the Press series, discussing issues across his sector. So on mining, one of the significant issues he mentioned has to do with the investments that are coming in. In spite of the challenges we are having with our economy, mining is still staying put. So he said 3 things. 1, within the next 2 years, 2.5 years to be precise, we're going to have 4 major new mines, greenfields, big mines. These are fresh investments. 3 of them gold, 1 on lithium. Distribution, Upper East, Upper West, Ahafo, and Central Region. Level of investment, almost $2 billion. 2 of them have started construction.
2 billion?
Yes, that's the kind of money that is coming in. This is just new investments within these 2.5 years. I have not even talked about those who are doing expansion, equally billions they are pumping in there, and those who are also doing redevelopment. But then we also don't want to focus on just the redevelopment and expansion. We also want to look at the new investment. We've not seen some new mines for a while now. So Cardinal Resources, they started construction, and sometime next year they'll pour gold. It's a very huge mine, and they'll be producing almost about 1.4 million ounces the first 3 years. So it's basically at par with Newmont and Anglo-Gouldboisy and Co. That's in Upper East region. So they are doing construction now. That is it. So it's not plans are far advanced or will be attracting. They've started. I'll discuss the impact of all this. Then the second one has to do with Ahafo region. You know, Newmont has a mine in Ahafo region. It's an open cast and underground. So for now, we can call it Ahafo South, because just 30 kilometers north, they are building a new mine altogether. It will produce the same amount quantity of gold like the one in Upper East. So we call it the Ahafo North. That is $1 billion investment, just one mine. So that means by the second quarter of 2025, Newmont will be having 3 big mines in Ghana. The one in Achim, which is also going to be expanded soon. The one in Ahafo South, which is open pit and underground, which is now the biggest gold mine in Ghana. And then Ahafo North. So if you add Cardinal and Ahafo North, that is $1.5 billion. These 2 have started. Then the third one is the lithium one in Central Region. We're working with them, I'm sure in the course of the year they will also start. It's very advanced. Then the last one is Upper West, Azuma Resources, and they also start construction very soon. So if you put this together, you're talking about $2 billion. But Tema, Ghanaians who are listening to me, 31 million. $2 billion, and so what? I want to believe that's the next question. So you see, it goes back to the local content and local participation I've been talking about. You see, this $2 billion, ideally, we should have raised the money here. Fortunately, we've now passed a law that makes it possible for that to happen. But all these monies are coming from outside.
We could
have done it here because there's a particular mine in Bibiani in Western North region. For about 7 years, it was not operating. A group of Ghanaians got together and managed to, raise some money with some kind of outside help. There is hope. The interesting thing is that Bibiani was able to raise $160 million from Ghana locally last year in cities. So this $2 billion is possible, maybe going forward. Bibiani raised that money. They poured gold somewhere in July after 7 years of inactivity. And then they started full production somewhere in August. So they worked up to the end of the year. This year they'll do full production, about 240,000 hours. They raise the money locally. So whilst we are expecting more Bibianis to happen, the question is this almost $2 billion that Newmont, Azuma, the lithium guys, and those guys in Cardinal Resources are bringing in. What do? Practically almost all the money will be used for goods and services. So that's how come the local content will come in now. So they are going to build tailing support or storage facilities for all these projects. Fortunately, effective this year, TSF will have to go to Ghanaian. So it means that what Newmont will be doing in Ahafo North, what Cardinal will be doing, what Azuma will be doing, until this year, a project that should go to foreign companies now will be done by Ghanaians. So that bit stays in. Typically, they will go into contract mining, which is a chunk of the money. Again, it is preserved for Ghanaians. These are all open pits. So you see, all is not lost. And then they will have to list on the Ghana Stock Exchange. So that will improve the market capitalization, and then you and I can also buy shares. They'll be buying fuel. They'll use a lot of lubricants. They'll do all kinds of things. So it is my expectation that as much as possible, Minerals Commission will have to ensure that at least no less than $1.5 billion of this amount of money, the chunk of it that will go into buying all kinds of goods and procuring all kinds of services. They will set up the company to blast the rock. So explosives will be needed, grinding media, etc. We capture as much as possible, at least more than half of this money. Then going forward, we design our programs and policies in such a way that we will be seeing more of the Bibianis. So that's why I want to reach out to all these guys or companies or entities that manage our tier 2, tier 3, whether GTV has something like that, I don't know. SNIT, I keep mentioning them all the time, and other institutions. They should take their money and pour it into these companies. Don't tell me it's risky. I'll tell you why. You know, there are a lot of people in Europe and in North America who don't know where Ghana is. Especially if you talk to people in the Americas. You mention Ghana, they say, oh, Guyana, South America, former British colony. So you have a company like Newmont, which is the biggest producer of gold in the world. Recently, they are going to spend about $17 billion to also take another Australian company. Now, if that doesn't happen, they have about 3 big mines in Ghana now. Ahafo North and South. And then you also have Achim. If they don't do the Australian deal, at least about 20% or so of their worldwide production will come from Ghana. This is America, arguably the most advanced country in the world, a quarter of the world's GDP. Dollar is everything. They have brought in their money here. So let nobody, either from SNIT or any of these companies that manage our tier 3 or sit on these funds, tell me it's a risky thing. because these Americans, these Canadians or Australians, they rank us as very risky for business. Very risky for business. The entire Africa, we are very risky for business. That we are politically unstable. I'm speaking generally, and I'll be surprised if you don't know this. Coup d'etats, we change our laws in the middle of the game, etc. Yet you have Newmont, American company, taking $1 billion from America to come and build a mine in Ghana. What should that be telling you? So this your 100, 200, or $40 million that you are managing here, kind of an asset management person. Don't come and tell me it's risky, because the gold is ours and somebody is bringing his money. So I'm doing my job. I'm telling you the opportunities are here. If they don't know we are here, we are telling them now. So I'm about to engage all these companies that manage these various assets. That look, take your money and give it to the mines. Bibiani has done it. So folks that invested in Bibiani, they are laughing. They are happy. Even some of them have even received their money. I mean, they got this money last year. Great Mine is running. Maybe it's education they have, and I believe they don't have it. That's my basic explanation I always give, because I don't understand it. An old pensioner somewhere, or somebody is working in America, he doesn't even know where your country is located. He has put in his billions, and the biggest company in the world has brought it into your country. He's coming to build a new mine, $1 billion. In about 2.5 years, you start digging the gold. So don't come and tell me it's a risky venture.
But the risk is in the financing, isn't it? Because it's a lot of money to put into one venture, and it has to be big money at once. And so
no, they put the money together. Okay. If you look at Bibiani like this, there are about 4 or 5 institutions that, or entities, that they got this $160 million in cedis from. Okay, not dollars. Rather than a person bringing, you see, this Newmont $1 billion that is coming, it will go back with an interest rate. Again, they give us a higher interest rate, anything between 8 to even 12 or 15. Okay, far higher than what they'll get in account. If Newmont was building the same mine in US with $1 billion, they will not be asking for this interest rate. The money will go out. So if you raise the money here, because that Bibiani money will stay here, okay, that money will stay here. But this one, the $1 billion, it will go with an interest rate. So at least we can also do is to make sure that, look, whatever they will spend the money on, we'll buy it. It's just people don't have education. Okay? So I am tired of you telling me money is not benefiting us in this country, when I'm telling you the $50 million you are sitting on, the $100 million you are sitting on, come and give it to these mines to develop, make the profit, you get the money. You understand that? You get the money. That is it. So the people who run all these hedge funds and co, I'm trying to engage them, speak to them and say, why are you keeping the money? What are you doing with the money? There's no better assets to invest in than these mining assets or portfolios. So we'll do the education. The government will do its bit. We'll keep taking the small-scale miners from the water bodies. We'll still expand the... you heard the president the other time. Gold catcher is everything, and we're going to bring more. So we are on course. Take the money, pour it into the mine, sit back, and watch and see what will happen.
But how are we ensuring that next time around we'll be ready for when these opportunities present themselves, so that people like in the Bibiani and the Obuasi instances can build the capacity, put monies together to be able to do some of these things on our own? Because if someone is putting their money in, we are paying them back with interest. How are we ensuring that we can, at the next available opportunity, raise these funds locally?
Tema, there's nothing like next available opportunity. The mining companies need the money now. So the various assets managers and portfolios and the banks, if they are hearing me, they should run to my office. I've compiled the list. I'm going to engage them. So it's not next time around. They need the money now. There are so many mining companies in Ghana. They are looking for monies. They are going around, running around Perth, in Vancouver, Toronto, London, Johannesburg. I mean, ask yourself, Anglo-Gold Ashanti, they ran 2 big mines in Ghana. The famous Obuasi mine, 1897, and the one at Iduaprim. They don't have a single mine in South Africa now. Okay, they don't have a single mine. Angogo and Ashanti don't have a single mine in South Africa. They sold or Amen Hong Fen, if you allow me to speak. Angogo and Ashanti is listed on the stock exchange in South Africa. Okay, no, Ukoya now by. Okay, so it's not like next time around. There's nothing like next time around where we will see, okay, these people need money. They need their money now. So we're going to engage them, line up the mining companies that need the money to pour into these investments. That is it. Yes.
So when we talk
if people didn't know, maybe because we're not doing our job or not educating people. But now I am telling everybody that this is where you should take your money. People are bringing money from outside and taking it out with huge interest rate. Even communist country, when you take money, they will even allow you to take it out. So the ones you're also sitting on, go and pour it into these mining companies, sit back and then get the returns. I'm not the one that said it's public knowledge. It is need that admitted. It's not a bash. I'm not bashing them. That admitted that their investment in manufacturing over the years have yielded no results. I don't know how much they invested, but you can imagine if this money is I'm saying this because the money is so much. I mean,
there's a fear there.
What is the fear here?
You mentioned
Tell me, so you see, that said they were afraid
no, stop. They did one thing, they did not get their
What did they get from Wyoming Steel and those steel things? You see, you are also thinking like, so I get it now. Hence this education. You're also thinking like all those think-alikes. Let me repeat. How many times did I say that? Like this Nigerian film says. I'm saying folks in America, in Australia, and Canada say you are too risky for business. It is common knowledge. You don't need to study investment law to know that. You are unsafe, coup d'etat. I mean, look at Mali, Burkina, and all those things. That's how they judge us when they do all those rankings. So it is better to keep your money in Europe or in Australia or in Canada or US. Then you have Americans who don't even know where Ghana is located, are lifting $1 billion. And do you know something? Listen carefully. These monies Newmont and Co are bringing in, they are bringing it from the same institution I'm asking they should pour money in from Ghana. So next week, I'll bring you the list of the investors for Newmont, Angogo, and Ashanti, and you see those who are money, various assets. There's a company called Vanguard Group, Inc. It's a very huge assets. I think they're having about 7 billion or so under assets management in US. They have investment in Newmont. And Newmont has 3 big mines here. They didn't tell Newmont, don't take your money to Ghana. Vanguard Group, Inc. Google them. Australian pension funds, trillions. They said they are going there to see whether they can get some. If they get it, they'll come and pour it in our money here. So all these institutions, private equity and co that are in US, are pouring in billions of people's funds in your mining companies. Don't tell me it is risky. Because a person nearly wrote you off and he has brought the money here. So if you sit here and you don't do it, you know, so last week I was on one radio station, I used this funny expression that some pastor told me the other time, if you accept Christ, listen carefully, and it turns out that God doesn't exist, you don't lose anything. But in the event you don't accept Christ, and then it turns out that God exists or Christ exists and we are going to heaven, then oh you are. So here am I, Martin Ayisi, telling you that people who say you are too risky for business are bringing in their billions to your country and giving you higher interest rate because you are still risky. They've seen the sense in it. And you are sitting here, billions of cedis. In any case, it's not something new. I'm just saying that Bibiani, Mensing go that around the Bibiani mine, which has been moribund, dead for 7 years, courtesy of Minister of Lands and Mine, Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Sam Abu-Jinapor. This mine has come back to life. So Bibiani is alive, it's a god. Life is back there. They managed to raise $160 million from about 4 entities in cedis. Madam, this $1 billion, Newmont to take it back with interest rate in dollars because you will not take cedis to America. So compare the Bibiani scenario with the Newmont scenario. That's all that I'm saying. So we'll keep drumming that home, keep engaging them. and let them sit there and say it is risky. This is the simplest understanding I can give. If anybody cannot understand it, then I don't know who else will understand it.
So the opportunity to invest in mining for massive profits,
and it has happened. It has
is
happened.
what Mr. Ayisi is talking about, calling on the investor community to consider going into mining as well. So when we talk about mining communities not benefiting from the mining activities that go on around them, Mr. Ayisi has in times past educated us on the opportunities for local participation within the mining space. So even as these new mines have also been brought up and construction is underway, there are certain things that people need to prepare themselves for if they intend to be a beneficiary of some of these billions of dollars that are within the space. So for the purpose of local content and participation, I know that you've educated us on catering. There are certain services that are reserved for only Ghanaians. And now that these mining companies are going up, people would be interested. How can I be a part of
So they should get ready.
Drive?
Oh, people have already positioned themselves. People have even gotten contact. For example, many of the civil works in Cardinal, Talency there, he's going to Ghanaians. The whole road, those constructions that's in taking place, they are all people we have already said. They are doing it. They wanted to give it to the Chinese, and we reminded them of the law quickly. That's why we put it on the law. Civil works. So Ghanaians are the one doing hard rule. We should allow. So I am doing my part. That's the job the good people of this country have given to us. So I'll be here and be ensuring that the nearly 2 billion, you capture all that. Look, they are going to contract these dams that will hold the waste. It is millions of dollars. Fortunately, we have preserved all these things. So people are going to eat in Talency. They are going to eat at Azuma. They are going to eat the $1 billion mine in Ahafo. So the existing caterers and all those things, they are positioning themselves. Some people have gotten contracts, and almost every week or a month or two, they advertise. So all those who are registered with us, they keep getting jobs. And life goes on. That is it. So when people say, oh, money has not benefited this country, I say, maybe because they don't understand. Because you see, what we know, if you, like you were talking, I think Kafi was talking to some people about this toll thing. If you run a similar thing and go on the street of Ghana, ask, what do you know about mining? Oh, I've heard of Obuasi, I've heard of Dunkwa, maybe Prestia, or now Newmont and Co. What they know is that they are in some bush somewhere, they dig up the stuff, they degrade the land, they say I buy 10%, take the stuff out, they don't even pay us anything, some small royalty. But within the last year or so, when we started this massive education, you have realized that there is more to that than people understand. When people get education, it changes their mentality.
But when we look at the mining community itself, can you understand why people have that perception? That perhaps the amenities they want to see.
Tema, this is a promise. This is a promise I'm going to give you. Next week, even if I don't make it, I'll show you. I'll look at my program. I'll show you. There's a community called Buin. I hope I got the pronunciation right. They should pardon me. It's within the Talency district. That's where Cardinal is working. We have pictures of before, how the community, was looking like. And then now, after the resettlement has been done. Even in the north now, we are asking the mining companies now invest in agriculture, irrigation agriculture, because it's not everybody who get a job there. So Tema, things are changing. Things are changing. Okay? We've learned our lessons. Mistakes have been made. We've gotten things wrong. So I'm here. Until January this year, tailing storage facilities were built by companies from South Africa and Australia. Effective this January, the one in Cardinal, the one that will be constructed in Ahafo North, the one that will come off in Azuma. Now Ghanaians will do it. They are running into over the 4 companies. They are going to spend over $100 million to build TSF or tailing storage facilities. We preserve it for Ghanaians this year. We have the capacity. So you see, these are the kind of things Ghanaians expect from us, so that they can get into this space. If Minerals Commission did not put this TSF on the procurement list this year, WBHO from Australia from South Africa or these Australian companies will be awarded $30 million contract to go and build tailing support facility. We will be failing Ghanaians if we don't do that. So we are doing our part. They will get into contract mining. Okay? the 1.5, that's a lot of money. The one that will come up in Cardinal and Azuma. All these now will go to Ghanaians because they are open pit or surface mining. So that's our job, and we are doing it. So we are doing what it will take to make sure that the 2 billion stays here. So those $2 billion and all those things, it will go into 4. They will hide security for these 4 areas. If we didn't put our foot down, they will have brought security from America, or they will have brought people from Australian or what do you call it, South Africans to come and run security at the mines here. So we are doing our part. So things are changing. Okay, these are things we just put on the list last year and this year. That's our job, following criticisms and sitting back and assessing the situation, realize that we are not getting enough. So we don't talk about royalties and taxes here. They are yet to come, because those things will come when construction starts. But I'm saying these 2 billion, our policies are attacking them to preserve a lot of space for Ghanaians. That's our job.
Gold mining, we've been used to for a while, but we are still having to, some of us, catch up with this lithium conversation. So perhaps a bit more education on the prospects there for us. The concern with gold is that even as a gold-producing country, many people have not seen gold, and the gold markets that we see in other countries like Dubai does not exist in Ghana. What's the plan for this lithium that we are mining?
No, there's something they call critical minerals. And sometimes they call them green minerals, because you see, if we need to meet this decarbonization and stop climate change, it means that we need to change our behavior and conduct. So many of the things that will help combat climate change, some of the technologies will require we use some minerals. That's why they call them green minerals. So for example, these wind turbines, these solar cells that you use for solar energy, the batteries that you put in electric vehicles, mobile phones, smartphones, flat screens, and all those things, you require some of these lithium, what do you call it, green minerals or critical minerals. Some also call it strategic. What are these minerals? Lithium, manganese, graphite, vanadium, even bauxite, okay, and various kinds of rare earth elements. Fortunately, we have about at least 3 of the green metals. Manganese, we have graphite exploration taking place around Wa, and then we have lithium, which is one of the most sought after critical minerals in the world. If you look at the geology of Ghana, we are quite prospective. Many parts of central region, running all the way from Ashanti, Eastern, it goes all the way to the north. What are we supposed to do? We are putting in measures in place to make sure that we get it right. We learn from the mistakes of how gold mining has gone. So the entire chain, a lot of people are doing exploration now. So very soon you mine it. When you mine the lithium, what do? You need to put in a chemical plant to produce the carbonate or the hydroxide. And then so the policies are now being designed in such a way that we get into the down and the mainstream rather than taking these things raw, or else we will not get it. Because you see, if they produce a concentrate, currently the price is about 6,000 thereabout, what do you call it, a ton. You need about 7 to 8 tons of the concentrate to produce 1 ton of the carbonate. And when you sell it, it's barely 7,000. Yet the product that you have to sell is about $60,000. So almost about 10 times that. But you see, to be able to build a chemical plant, it requires a lot of energy. There's one that is being built in a place in US, I think Tennessee or so. They are going to feed it with about 200,000 tons. The one in Ghana is even more than that. When I check the cost of the chemical plant, about $800 million. So these are some of the things that we need to do. We need to put in measures and policy in place and make sure that we don't just get up and say, let's mine, but also you create the right environment for the midstream and downstream to thrive. Because if you need this kind of money, or the person requires power and other things to do it, you have to make sure that it is right. Other than that, for now, we're going to do it very well.
Okay. Your final words, because these are huge investments.
Final word, very simple. Mining is still the heartbeat of this country. Let anybody come and tell me which sector has seen fresh investment to a tune of about $2 billion. I've not added figures yet from expansion and redevelopment. I just mentioned Bibiani. Bibiani is spending about 200 million to do all this expansion and other mines. So within the next In fact, within the last 2, 3, 4 years, you've seen about $4-5 billion worth of investment in mining to do 3 things. New mines, which I mentioned, those who are doing expansion, the likes of Newmont, and then also Golden Star, Wasa, underground, and those who are doing redevelopment, Obuasi and Co. So that's about $3-4 billion. A lot of this money will go into goods and services. Mincom, Minerals Commission, we've done our bit. We're changing the procurement list and preserving more space for Ghanaians. So get in there, talk to us. But for me, the battle will be properly, we'll win the battle properly when these billions I keep mentioning are all raised locally here. Then we can now sleep and say we are getting there. Okay? Yes. So local content, we are doing well. Small scale, yes, we still have a long way to go, but the government is fixing it. We are doing that. But I want the billions to be raised locally here. So 2 ways. We either get these asset managers to put in money or force them to list on the stock exchange. So lithium, they will list. They have no choice.
Mr. Martin Ayisi, CEO of the Minerals Commission, thank you so much for sitting with us once again. We'll look forward to our next
remind me through WhatsApp for me to bring these resettlement pictures in Upper East.
We will do that.
So that you see how far we've come. We are learning our mistakes.
Learning from lessons of the past, and we are grateful for that. I'm sure the mining communities are watching and listening with rapt attention. If you missed this conversation, go on our social media handles. You can watch this all over again. You can also connect with the Minerals Commission via their social media handles as well. Minerals Commission on all social media platforms. This is Breakfast Live on GTV. We'll take a short break and be back with other conversations.